Hey, this is Dan Hall coming at you live from the Dan H411 Guitar Lessons Studios, right here in front of my green screen. So today we're going to be looking at another four-part lesson. Been doing a lot of these four-part lessons lately, and this is what I'm going to do today. Another four-part lesson where what I'm going to do is show you, in four parts, I'm going to show you how to build lead progressions. What we're going to do is we're going to start today off, lesson number one, with taking a simple shape and then working on how we can think about that in terms of lead. Think about this like as an intermediate lesson for, or a beginner lesson for intermediates, right? Where we're taking an intermediate lesson, which is lead playing, and we're going to take it from the step one. Then in the next lesson, we'll look at a step two, a little bit more advanced. Third lesson, a little bit more advanced. And the fourth lesson, we'll get even a little bit more advanced. And I'll probably continue this on my Patreon as well and get even more advanced with it. So today we'll take a look primarily at that beginning kind of lead that you might find you hear this kind of lead in all kinds of songs. And because it's tried and true, a lot of people use this kind of lead. A lot of people gravitate towards that first box of the pentatonic, and this kind of lead or this kind of solo is heard all over the place. But as we progress, we'll get into some more advanced things that you may be thinking to yourself, this is the way I want to play, or maybe I want to try some of these things, or maybe you've never thought about playing leads this way. So journey with me on this four-part lesson through some soloing techniques, building solos, thinking about solos in terms of songs. Here we go. Okay, I've got a backing track here that's in G minor. And we're going to look at the G minor box. So the G minor box is going to be played on the 6th string. We're going to play a 3/6. And then when we get to the 5th string, the 4th string, and the 3rd string, we're going to play at 3/5, 3/5, 3/5. The 2nd string we're going to play 3/6, and the 1st string we're going to play 3/6. Now, practice that shape, either to this track or to a metronome. This track is on my Patreon, by the way, but either to this track or to a metronome, just going back and forth. I'm going to slow it down to about half speed if you want to play along with me. If you don't, go ahead and fast forward. One more time. Now, if you listen to the song, it fits very well in that G minor pentatonic box. So let's look at some leads we can do in that pentatonic box. I'll give you one, show you how to do it, and give you another, show you how to do it, give you another, show you how to do it, and then we'll put them together, okay? All right, so let's look at that one. So basically we're starting on the 4th string at the 3 and the 5. We're sliding up to the 5. And then we're going to the 3rd string. We're playing the 3 and the 5. And then we're going back to the 3 and going back to the 4th string to the 5. Back to the 3 on the 3rd string, back to the 5 on the 3rd string. And then we're basically going back and forth to the 3 to the 4th string on the 5, to the 3 on the 3rd string, to the 5 on the 3rd string. So it's kind of like that. Now we can do this sliding into it like we did before. And then back and forth. Notice my picking hand is just alternate picking. And then what we're doing here is we are basically speeding up to the tempo of the song, going from, I believe, half notes to 16th notes. I could be wrong about that, but doing something like that. The way I play is I play by feel. I'm just feeling the song. So we'll do it again with the backing track in just a second, but basically we're doing this. And then of course at the end, I did a little variation. But notice that all I'm using is those three notes, that 3rd fret on the 3rd string, 5th fret on the 3rd string, and then 5th fret on the 4th string. So there's all kinds of variation you could do there. So I'll play it again, just give you a little bit of variation that we could do there. Okay, again, sliding into it. Hey, we'll get back to the lesson in just a minute. I just want to go ahead and take just a second or 2 or 3 or maybe 5 minutes, I don't know, to tell you about my free course that I got out there. 7 days to unlocking the fretboard, learning the circular shapes of the fretboard, how the shapes themselves connect together like puzzle pieces, and how you can train your fingers to go wherever you want to on the fretboard and move your fingers all over the place and play solos all over the place. You can get this 7-day course at tinyurl.com/DanH411. You can either click there or there or there or there or there, wherever. Maybe I'll stick on my belly and you click right there. But either way, however you click, go get that 7-day course. You sign up for my mailing list and I send you bonuses and promotions and things like that. You can of course unsubscribe at any time, but you get access to the course, and of course you'll always have access to the course even if you unsubscribe. So it's a win-win for everybody. I'd love you to stay signed up though, because I'm always doing bonuses. A lot of times when I do my Patreon bonuses, I make them free for 7 days, but you'll get access to those when I email them to you and I'll let you know where they're at. So another win-win if you stay signed up and everything. So go ahead and go over to tinyurl.com/DanH411, get that 7-day lead guitar course, check that out, and back to the lesson. So essentially what I want you to see there is that there's all kinds of different variation we could do just between those 4 notes, right? If I'm adding in the 3rd fret of the 4th string, and then the 3rd and the 5th frets of the 4th string, and of course the 3rd string, you can of course I'm doing a lot of sliding like that. Doing the hammer-ons and the pull-offs. We can double up on that one pull-off between the 3rd and the 5th frets of the 3rd string. Of course, you can come up with all kinds of variations. We can double up when we hit the 5th fret of the 4th string as well. When we do that one's going to require that we pick the 3rd string and the 4th string. So you do your hammer-ons and your pull-offs there. When we get to that 4th string, back to the 3rd string. So there's a couple different ways you can do that. We'd of course go back and forth. And that'll be the next one I show you, is how we could go ahead and take all 4 notes and create some interesting patterns. So what I'm going to show you next is going to be this one. And we're going to go ahead and see how that sounds over the backing track. And then let's combine the 2 that I already showed you, right? Some of the variations. So taking those two shapes, right, or this one, we can go ahead and come up with all kinds of different variations. And again, we're still only playing within 4 notes. So that one right here, we're going to play on the 3rd string. We're going to go ahead and play from the 5th to the 3rd. Go back to the 4th string, play on the 5th. Come back to the 3rd on the 3rd. So that right there in and of itself is a lick. But then we're going to go ahead and continue on. Go back to the 4th string on the 5th fret. And then go to the 3rd fret on the 4th string. So then go back to the 5th fret on the 4th string. Back to the 3rd fret on the 4th string. Back to the 5th fret. Back to the 3rd string, 3rd fret. Back to the 4th string, 5th fret. Back to the 3rd fret on the 3rd string. And then we start the sequence over. So it's and I'll have the whole thing tabbed out for you on the screen, but basically we're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think my counting was right there. I think it's 12 notes. But when you play it fast, it doesn't sound like 12 notes. It sounds like a flurry of notes. If I could combine that with the other one, you can see how we're starting to come up with phrases that sound very interesting, and they fool the ear into thinking more is going on there than it actually is. Once again, I'll play that over the backing track just to give you an idea of how that sounds. All right, let's do one more shape in this beginning intermediate lesson. This is number 1 of these licks and tricks. Again, we're playing in the G minor scale. And I've been focusing on the 3rd and the 4th string. So let's go ahead and add some notes to that. Let's go ahead and add in the 2nd and the 1st strings, but use the 3rd and the 4th strings as well. So let's go ahead and do this. I'll break that down for you in just a second, but let's see how that sounds over the backing track. And then after I play that for a couple times, I'll go ahead and add in the other shapes as well, so you can see how all 3 shapes work together. As you can see, you can put all these licks in there together. I flubbed a little bit at the end there, maybe a couple other times, but basically you can see I'm able to go back and forth between one and the other. So let's look at that 3rd shape. We're going to go ahead and play on the 4th string, 3-5, 3rd string, 3-5, and then 2nd string, 3-6. And then we're going to start over on the 3rd string. We're going to play 3-5, 2nd string, 3-6, and then 1st string, 3-6. And then here on the 1st string, we're going to go backwards. We just played the 6, so we're going to play the 3, go to the 2nd string, play the 6, 3, go to the 3rd string, play the 5, 3, then go back to the 2nd string, play the 6, 3, on the 3rd string, play the 5, 3, and on the 4th string, play the 5, 3. and start over. So after we do that, we go. And of course, there's all kinds of variations in there. We can go all the way down, come all the way back, or we can go ahead and do the sequence like I'm doing where we're playing 3 strings forward and then 1 string back, right? Something like that. 1, 2, 3, then go back, 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna go backwards, and then back 1 or up 1, 1, 2, 3, and then here you can go back to the 3rd string and play the 5-3 again. And then on the 4th string, play the 5-3 and start over. So that gives you 3 shapes, right? You can start off with this one, just between the 3rd and the 4th strings, playing really simple stuff like this. And then we can go ahead and move on to a little bit more complicated. We're doing things like this. And then we can go ahead and go across 4 strings and get even more complicated and do things like this. So there's all kinds of really cool stuff in there that you can go ahead and play with. And I'll give you an idea of a lead that you can do just by playing over the backing track, using all of the shapes, and just kind of give you an idea. So you can go ahead and listen to this and think about how it's played. And I'm not going to tab it out necessarily for you because I'm just kind of improvising, but just take the shapes and play with them and play one at a time, do it to a metronome, move up 10 BPM at a time, get yourself to the point where you can play it at about 150, 200 BPM, maybe a little bit less, but you're growing gradually. Like start out at 50 BPM, grow slowly, grow gradually. And then when you get to the point where you can play them fluently and you can kind of just gravitate back towards the shape and play them. And again, this is in G minor, so get you a G minor backing track and you can play over it with that, or just do it to a metronome. When you get to that point, then add a 2nd shape, then add a 3rd shape. So let's see how this sounds. Once again, thank you for checking out the lessons that I have on here every single week. And don't forget to go on over to tinyurl.com/danh411 and get my free 7-day guitar course that'll help you just learn how to pick up the guitar and go, right? Pick it up, play with ease and confidence by training your muscle memory and training your fingers to go where you want them to go on the fretboard every single time so that you can go ahead and, like I said, just pick up the guitar and go and solo intuitively and play guitar leads over any song in any key, anytime you want to, even if it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you don't mind waking the neighbors. So again, that course, 7-day lead guitar course from Dan H411 Guitar Lessons is at tinyurl.com/danh411. So you probably noticed there that I added a few extra notes. I added a note that's in the 7-note scale, and I also took this shape and I extended it across the 2nd and the 3rd strings and the 1st and the 2nd strings. And I even went into the 2nd box. So what we'll do in the next lesson is we'll take a look at some of that stuff so we can go ahead and add to our vocabulary and make our playing that much stronger and that much more expressive. All right, so in the course today we looked at the 1st shape of the pentatonic box. If you have any questions about that 1st shape of the pentatonic box, let me know. If you've started to think about the pentatonic box in a circular fashion, I'd love to hear from you in the comments, because that's really the thing that really made everything click for me. Not only the pentatonic box, but also the 7-note shapes. And when I started to realize that, I started to realize that I could play this all over the fretboard. So a lot of people get stuck in that first box. But if you're starting to be able to play outside that box, I know we really didn't do that in this lesson, but we will in the next one. But if you're starting to see how you can start moving outside this box because you start seeing the patterns, then I'd love to hear from you in the comments when it starts clicking for you. Because that's really what's making me keep doing these lessons, is basically seeing people have those epiphanies and go, ooh, I didn't realize that. And that is something that I really strive for, because I want to be able to show you something that you can't get anywhere else. Because my warped brain sees things a little bit differently than everybody else. So if I can go ahead and give you some of that information, then I think that's awesome. And I love to hear that in the comments. I love to hear that I'm helping people, because that's really what I want to do. I want to help you be able to pick up the guitar and just play it. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you got this. And as some people have already done, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about something, because I'll be sure to fuss and gripe and complain and criticize you, and then realize I'm wrong and go back and relearn it and be able to tell you the right thing. So see you in the next one, which is going to be the second part of this one.